Hear him out.
Hi, Frannie. Welcome to Hear 'Em Out. Congratulations again on graduating from AB Management Economics. That's cum laude pa. Grabe.
Thank you very much.
How do you do that?
I
Okay,
don't
but
know.
first, girl, you still did it though.
Hey, you want to talk? Aren't you like magna cum laude?
Hey, look, let's talk about you, okay?
This
Let's
is
talk
about you,
about
Franny.
you. It's about you, girl. Okay, so first let's check in with you. How have you been doing this quarantine? How have your routines looked like?
Me, oh my gosh, I don't think I have a routine. I think I should start having a routine though. But I've been sleeping more, eating more, working out more consistently.
Yes, let's
And
go.
That's good.
I've been cooking and baking a lot, actually. That's pretty much it.
Time for rest is
Mentally,
good.
I don't know. Kind of hard to be like in a good place the whole time when the world is the way it is right now.
Yeah, I felt that
Right.
a lot. So, I heard you were a singer. Actually, no, I didn't. I didn't just hear that. I heard you sing in high school. Are you thinking about singing, or you have anything related to like music in store in the future?
Well, um, music and singing has always been something that I want to keep like for myself. It's something I've loved for so long, and there was a time where I guess I lost my passion for it because I felt like I had to do something with it. So maybe I'll post like a cover here and there. But
Wow.
I'm so excited. I'm so ready.
I want to hear one of these covers. Where do you have a SoundCloud that I can listen to? Do you want to plug a SoundCloud?
oh my gosh, I have not touched
Not
my
yet.
SoundCloud in so long.
Okay, so everyone go to Franny's SoundCloud after this podcast.
Right, we'll listen to Franny sing.
Okay, so let's talk about your courtside reporting days. You were courtside reporter for 2 years for Ateneo. How was that like? Oh my god, that's so fun.
It was, well, I'm sure you can relate, but it was such a great experience. I honestly cannot compare it to anything else. And I think it meant more knowing how difficult the whole audition process was. And also because it was something that I kind of joked about wanting for so many years. Like I grew up watching the UAAP. I I always wanted to be in the middle of it. I used to look up to Jessica Mendoza and how she got to experience championships with the Blue Eagles, and I always wanted to be in her position, and I got to experience that.
Aww. So, what pushed you to be a courtside reporter or to audition?
Okay, so I didn't know if I was gonna, when I got to college, I didn't know if it was something that I was gonna pursue because I was also going for, I was going to do a term abroad. So my whole college life, I was working on my grades for that. I took advanced classes just so that I could be all set for the second semester of third year. And it just so happened that my friend, who was a student manager of the team, told me, hey, they have a spot open. I think you should just go for it. And I told myself, there's nothing to lose. I could
Yeah.
get it. I could not get it. And if I don't get it, I can be sad in Madrid.
That is
Oh,
the
sad
best
in Madrid.
line. Like, imagine you're
How
sad,
are you
but
sad in
you're in
Madrid?
Madrid.
right?
Are you
Like,
are you crying in Spanish? Ay, Dios mío.
Or you can cry while eating churros, or my god, dude, that just
Wow,
sounds
so
so
yummy.
I'm sorry, I'm just
yeah.
thinking of that. Being sad in Madrid doesn't sound like a bad option either.
It really doesn't. And that's why I was really okay with just, going for it and seeing where the wind takes me.
Aww.
Aw. All right, since you're a courtside reporter, like if so, you said the process was a little difficult.
Mhm.
What's one piece of advice for anyone who wants to try and pursue this sort of line of being a courtside reporter?
Ooh, prepare a lot. I remember, like me, even though I was watching the UAP for so many years already, I had to make sure I got all my facts straight. If I knew any UAAP fun facts, I had to double check them. I had to make sure I could answer their questions about box outs and all the terminology just to prove that, I was worthy of the job.
Right.
And I remember we had like a diagnostic test where they asked us like, what is what is the front court? What's an end one? And I was
You
really just
guys have a
like,
diagnostic test?
yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god, I didn't have that in my time. In my time,
It makes me sound so old, Nina, in your time.
okay, to be fair, I was a courtside reporter like 2 years before Frannie. Okay,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
diagnostic test.
And what else did we? Oh, and then especially like because obviously when you apply, you want to represent your school, and that's not always guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, they asked like, "Oh, who are three key players in your team?" So I gave my answer, not knowing that when I walked into the room with all the people like Nina Miss Ads,
Oh yeah.
Madi, and then they were like, "Oh, you wrote 30 Ravenna, Matt Nieto, and Isaac Go. Why are they key players?" And I had to back up my answer with solid facts, which I did, by the way. I even mentioned
Yes,
the play, and
girl.
I was like, "Wow, who am
Mhm.
I?" But
Proud of you. Proud of you.
Props to you.
yeah, preparation is key, and I think aside from that, you always have to open yourself to learning more.
Mm-hmm.
You never know, you're never ready for something, and even when you think you're ready, there's still so much to learn and so much to help yourself get better at whatever it
That's
is.
so true. That's so true.
Right.
So, how different was it working with the basketball team and the volleyball team?
Okay, with the basketball team, I don't know, maybe there was a part of me that was like, "Whoa, I always wanted to be here because this is what I grew up watching." And I mean, my cousin played. So it was like I had to get over the shock of like actually being there. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next part of that was like proving to them that they couldn't just like mess with me. Like I kind of had to prove I was a bro,
You
if
did.
that makes sense. Like I can't like I had to prove to them like I wouldn't be scared if like a ball was flying towards me, and that
That was you, right?
that was volleyball.
Oh my god!
Did a ball actually hit your face? What happened?
Okay,
During a
I'll get to
report.
that. But
Oh my
yeah,
god.
like I love both teams. The guys are great. Like I definitely found a family with them, and I feel like their support still until now. Like sometimes they check up on me, even the coaches and the managers. Then with the volleyball team, I'd say so. Okay, I said the guys were my bros. So these girls were definitely like my sisters. Because I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's a girl thing, and them in being in their situation, they had a new coach, and they really, really, really wanted to prove that they could win a championship at the time. So for me, it was kind of hard to break the ice with them because I also wanted to be respectful of Coach O trying to establish a system while showing the girls that I'm here to like to respect them and to tell their stories properly and not you know add more intrigue to them because the volleyball world is crazy.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I'm so happy that I did get to break the ice with them, and I found like sisters, and they're super, super great people, super great company. I even got to go to Boracay with them, which was
Oh
wow. Oh my
yeah,
Wow.
gosh.
amazing! Oh my god, that sounds so fun.
Yeah. So it sucks that my time with them was cut short for my last season, because I would have loved to have more time with them. They're very sweet.
So, right, you have this like insider information since you're closer to them, but where do you draw the line between the information that has to be kept with a team and what is reported?
Well, sometimes, well, you you have access to all these behind the scenes, to all the secrets, the how people react to certain things. But I guess for me, it's always, knowing that just because it's a secret and people might find it like interesting, like, is it relevant to the situation and the game that's
Yeah, yeah.
happening? Like, it shouldn't matter if this person was like super, super like, it shouldn't matter if this person, like, oh, she ate out in Katip
Mm-hmm.
the night
Yeah.
before the game. Like, I mean, I'm sure some fans would be like, "Oh my gosh, she ate there." But at the same time, it's like it doesn't add more to the story of the game. I guess for me, it's always important to like help help what the viewer, like, help the experience of the viewer. If they see that, let's say, third year Ravenna is going ballistic on the court, then, and if I have something to say about that with his permission, for example, like why he's extra inspired that day, then I'd share it, because I feel like it adds to the story and it creates this great picture on TV.
Right. So it's like value adding always, diba?
Yeah,
Yeah.
always has to be value adding. So, what was your most memorable moments covering for the Ateneo basketball and volleyball team? Is the ball hitting your head one of your favorite moments?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great in the moment.
Ouch.
Because,
Ang galing mo
okay,
talaga. How were you able to do that, dude? You're so good.
so,
Wait, you
okay,
didn't, so you didn't dodge it. It actually hit you.
because you can't dodge it if you don't see it, right?
Right,
Like,
right, okay. All
because it
right.
hit me from behind.
Ouch.
And okay, so I was in the middle of a report, and it just, okay, I think it's just karma, because before that I was like joking with some of the people there, like, oh, I'm not gonna get hit by a ball today. And then I did. And it hurt so much. But like, because
You
I
kept
knew,
going.
because I knew if I stopped talking, I would forget what I was saying. So I got hit. And then I was just like, okay, let's just finish the report.
Just
And
keep
it wasn't
going.
seen on TV, but they sent me, because the camera was still rolling. So they sent me the slow motion video of my head getting hit. And
It
you
was
can
posted.
you can hear the laugh. You can hear them laughing at me in the background. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna post this. At least I'll gain something from my pain and embarrassment. You know?
Yeah, it's value adding.
Being a courtside reporter really is a very, very difficult job.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. Wow. So many
Very
risks.
dangerous.
So that was one of my more memorable experiences. Well, okay, there are a lot, but like, for example, with the basketball team, when they sweep the elimination round, which hadn't been done before, I think that meant a lot, because it was, if I remember correctly, it was a Wednesday game in MOA, and not a lot of people show up to those games.
Yeah.
But you can see the Ateneo crowd in full force, or, well, not the same way you'd see them like on a weekend maybe in Araneta, but they were all there, and you could feel the energy. Like, they knew that history was going to be made that day, and it
Aw.
was
Yeah.
made. And it was a great experience, and you could see it in the faces of the guys. Like, they knew, okay, after this, like, I mean, I didn't want to tell Michaela, Chavez, the UST Courtside Reporter at the time, but I already knew there was only going to be two more games because I've never seen them so locked in and focused. Like they sweep the elimination round, so they're going to sweep the entire thing. There was no question about that in my mind.
It's really inspiring to see teams like see how hard they work and then just see it in action, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I learn a lot also from the coaches and the way they're able to motivate the teams. It's really inspiring and it's very motivating. Like it made me want to like do better in other aspects. It made me want to like up my reporting to match what I was seeing on the court, if that makes sense.
So, okay, so who are the players who have had like the biggest impact on the team, or if there are any players who deserve more recognition than they normally do?
More recognition than they already do. Um, well, that's kind of hard considering you. I've got some pretty big names in my teams, but I think SJ Belangel. He's still young, but he's already shown that he has so much leadership, and I'm excited to watch him play because I know that he's ready to really come out of that. Like he's ready to show that he's a vet and that he's a leader. And it's so cute to me because he calls everyone on the team kuya. He calls me ate all the time.
Oh.
And but then he like I think if I remember correctly, he like told himself he was gonna stop doing that because he needed to establish his dominance and to show that he's like, okay, I respect you, but you have to respect me too now.
I am the ate.
Then for the girls, okay, well I always talk about Jaja Maraginot because she's very quiet, but I feel like she's like wise beyond her years. She stepped up to the lead setter role and she's had experience from Palaro. Like the girl knows how to play. The girl is magical on the court. And I feel like, people should be more excited and should be giving her more attention because, you know, the hitters, they won't be able to score without her. And speaking of hitters, like I super love Erica Raagas. Okay, well, I mean, maybe I'm biased because Jaja and Erica are kind of like my children. But Erica, kasi she works so hard in practice, even overload. So she does extra practice on her own just so that she can get it right. And she's always, always ready to step up when you need her. So they're young. I mean, like these players are young, Jaja, Erica, and SJ, but they have so much to offer, and it only takes one game, honestly, for their brilliance and their greatness to show.
Oh yeah, sometimes like that one game can just change their like whole career, diba?
Yeah.
What are your favorite quotes or moments with Coach Tab and Coach O?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Coach Tab, he's like a prof.
Is
And
that a good thing or a bad thing?
He's an intellectual.
it's nice when you listen to him talk and when you talk to him because you learn so much. But it's also scary in the sense that when you interview him, you feel like you're doing your orals and he's actually grading your interview. And
Oh my God.
there are times where he'll ask me, Franny, what did I say? And then I'll repeat it to him and he'll be like, no, you misquoted me. It's actually blah, 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 blah. And I'll just be
He's
like,
like a
"Coach,
strict prof.
I just like summarized it."
Grabe.
But that also made it more rewarding when I knew like he heard a report and he'd go out of his way to tell me like, hey, good job. I listened to what you said. I thought it was very insightful, blah blah blah. And it meant even more to me when we did the Thanksgiving mass for the team after the three-peat because he shouted me out, and till this day I cannot decipher what the recording said because the audio in Jesu isn't the best all the time, but
Mhm.
the fact that he shouted me out, told me I did a great job, and said like, he was expecting more great things from me meant so much.
That really is so nice.
Yeah, so he's more of like your sergeant general type of
Tough
guy.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super tough love. Now,
Tough
Coach
love.
O, on the other hand, he's more emotional as a coach. And I think like that there's a great contrast between two coaches because Coach Tab is very like calculated, he's very intellectual about how he goes about things. And while Coach O does think about, he makes his plays and all that, but he also loves to highlight how important your hunger and your heart should be. Like how hungry you are, how much you want it, how much you love what you're doing. He always, always, always reminds the girls that like every practice before the game, he always reminds them, you have to have faith, you have to have trust, and you have to have courage. Because without those three things, you know, then what's the point? And I know he was talking to them like about volleyball and all that, but to me that also applied to everything that he does outside of volleyball, and it applies. And he tells me that like he doesn't want to just be a coach for volleyball. He wants to coach these girls in life too, and to remind them that those three things are all you really need if you want to succeed. And that was inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. How is it like working closely with Tito Mico, Nico Ramos, Boom Gonzalez? Like, how do you feel? Any highlights or important things you've learned from them?
Oh my god, Nina, they're my mentors.
Yes.
Like, okay, so Boom, I remember the first game I did, and he messaged me after on Instagram just to say, like, hey, you did a good job. Don't worry about it if you feel like, you didn't do your best, because you'll learn. And from then, like, my first game with him, like, I knew that I had someone I could talk to if I ever had questions. And I had someone who was willing to provide me so much critiques if I needed them. Then Tito Miko, I always have a fun time with Tito Miko because it's just fun to like. I remember there was one game where he couldn't get over 30's hair. And so I'd ask 30 about his hair, and I mentioned it in the halftime report. And Tito Miko still couldn't get over it.
Oh my
But
god.
he, I mean, he really is like, your Tito, and he offers you so much advice and help. And I have like this memory of him and Nico Ramos. I think Nico Ramos is one of my favorite anchors ever, because so this was my last game for basketball, and I was a little all over the place because it's the nerves, it's the energy of the arena, and I usually have them check my reports before we go on just to make sure that they're okay with it. And I wanted to ask Tito Miko because I knew it was going to be my last, because during the finals, with all the coverage, you don't even get to do a halftime report anymore.
Yeah.
So I said, like, okay, I'm going to make my pregame report the best one I can make. And Tito Miko and Nico both shrugged me off and refused to like even read my report. And they were just like, Frannie, you've always been like a vet, like you know what you're doing. You don't need us to check it. And in that moment, I almost
Wow.
cried right before going on TV. And I was just like, wait, like this means a lot to me right now, but I can't get emotional because I still have to talk on TV.
Oh
But
my gosh.
that was such like a rewarding, and like it was such a I can't remember the word for it, but I just felt so fulfilled because
Yeah.
these people that I looked up to, that I respected, and people that helped me get the reporting that I've been doing, that I've been happy with, they're a big part of that. And especially like Nico, because Nico's an editor and he really like he gets your notebook. He's like, if you can say it in less words, better. He checks your grammar, all those things. It was just nice to know that these people who I respect me too. And I feel like I earned that, especially being, new to the field, because technically it was only my second year in doing anything like this.
Yeah, but you did a great job. Like, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you were talking about all these inspiring and wonderful people you work with SNA, diba? And speaking of SNA, it's one of these programs by ABS-CBN, and ABS-CBN is such a hot topic right now. No?
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone, a lot of people know what's going on right now. But I just wanted to hear what your thoughts are on the whole ABS-CBN franchise closure. It's one of the pillars of our democracy, really, all of our country, even. ABS-CBN, it's an institution. So how do you feel about it being closed down, knowing that you know people, you're so connected to this institution?
Well, the day that they did the town hall and us courtside reporters, we weren't invited to that, but I kind of knew what was going on already, and I was a mess that day. It didn't really hit me till like later on in the afternoon that all these people that I worked with, all these people that I told myself I was going to keep working with in the future, to find out that they no longer had jobs and they no longer got to work on something that they were so passionate about. Like that crushed me in a way. And in the bigger picture of ABS-CBN being shut down, which is definitely an attack on press freedom and our democracy, when the fact that they were able to prove that they haven't violated anything, and listening to the hearing and the things that were being brought up, it's frustrating, but at the same time, we don't have the same power that the people in government hold. But that doesn't mean that we won't have that power in the future, because the youth is the future. And I feel like, us growing up in a time like this, it's fueling us to be better than any generation before us, and to make, a better world for us, ourselves, and the future generations. And I hope, I hope, and I'd like to say I know, but the future's not certain. I hope that ABS-CBN comes back to doing what it's been doing all this time. And in my opinion, they've always been innovative. They're, especially with SNA, who's been you know knocking it out for everyone, making it hard for the competitors to keep up. um I'm hopeful. I'm frustrated at the current situation, but I'm hopeful for myself, for our generation, and for all the people I worked with who lost their jobs, and even the people I didn't get to meet who lost their jobs, that, things will get better. Ooh, I didn't know we were going to get political up in here.
Given your role as the courtside reporter and being part of the youth, what do you think our role is in trying to propagate this idea of ABS-CBN coming back, the whole maintaining our democracy, maintaining our press freedom? What do you think our role is as the youth?
Well, unlike any generation before us, we have so much access to each other through social media, which, I get that it's not always the best place to be for your mental health with everything going on, and it can be super overwhelming. But I do think it's important to stay informed and to inform others, and the using that, the platform, using, the internet to find out how we can help and what we can do right now or in the future to do better. Because, in the past, like, our parents didn't have the same access to information, and the best way we can, you know, use that the best thing we can do with our resources now is to learn more about the situations that are going on, bringing awareness to those situations, and finding ways, even if they're small ways, of helping.
Right. Yeah. That's very true. No? And especially getting your facts right, clearing up
Mhm.
misconceptions that people are saying
Yeah.
online. There's so much things that people are saying there.
Yeah.
And I guess I just want to know then, being somewhat involved or attached to the whole ABS-CBN, what is it like for the people who who are affected directly from what's been happening? What are the reactions to it?
It's heartbreaking. Um, I was talking to one of the analysts the other day, and I mean, I guess it's different for us who are considered, the talents, the anchors, analysts, courtside reporters, because we technically don't, we're not with ABS-CBN like all the time. We're just there when they need us. But I think for us, for example, it won't really hit until like sports comes back in the future and there's no more SNA. But for those who have been with SNA, with ABS-CBN for 11 years, 20 years, even more, it's heartbreaking. You even have families, like you have um, parents who both worked in ABS-CBN and now they have to find other means to support their families. It's hard to think that there are these people you looked up to and now you can't really do anything. You can't really help them, or you can't really, there's nothing really that you can say that will make the situation better for them. And I guess I've been trying to just, my heart is with them and I feel for them, and I'm going to keep bringing awareness to the situation, and I'm going to keep fighting for them in whatever form I can. But, you know, I don't think, I mean, I can empathize with their situation, but for those who have been with the network for so long, I can't even imagine what they're feeling and the uncertainty that and how lost that they feel right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's an emotional and very, very sad time right now.
Yeah.
And speaking of all these people who are affected, and I think one of the biggest areas is really like we were talking about the press, our own freedom of speech,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, given all of that, there's this whole anti-terrorism law that's been thrown at us up on top of the whole ABS-CBN closure, And
Mm-hmm.
what do you feel about this? All of these things that are happening, COVID, the closure, on top of this anti-terrorism law that's just been passed. How do
Well,
you feel? Do you feel hopeful, for the future? 'Cause it's very hard to be hopeful now. All of this.
I think my general mood nowadays is overwhelmed,
Okay.
Yeah.
especially, you know, for people our age, whether you're still studying or not, you're entering probably one of the worst depressions or recessions.
Yeah.
Um, like there are people who lost their jobs, but there's also people who don't quite have the opportunity to get the job yet, even. And now we have to resort to being resourceful and finding ways to make money on our own. That's why so many people have been making and selling what they bake, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Lots of small business popping up right now.
Yeah, but it's frustrating when, there's a global pandemic and the people who are meant to take care of you and your country are using it to further their own agendas and keep their power. I had this class in Ateneo under Sir Benj Barreto, and he always told us that it's hard not to it's hard to remember all the technical terms and all that from his class, but if he can leave us wanting to do better, maybe even consider joining government to help make things better, then we should always strive for that and we should always carry that in our hearts. And maybe that's why I'm not completely hopeless, because I feel like our generation, and when you can't rely on the people who you elected, you can rely on the people in your community, because we are all we have. And while things are bleak right now, and while things might not be best situation, I do believe that we will get past it. And once we get past it, we will make the world a better place.
Yes, we will.
We
Just have
will
to remain
definitely.
hopeful.
We will. And on that note, with the note of being hopeful and looking to the future, I do have one last question. And I think the thing I want to ask the most is, what's one thing that everyone has to hear right now that isn't said or heard enough? On that line of hope, maybe something that we have to hear more.
um, well, especially right now, you don't have to put yourself down just because you don't feel like you're being as productive as you could be. You don't have to be the most productive person in the world. You don't have to do so many things right now. Right now, it's enough to just be, and be there for the people around you, be there for your fellow Filipinos, um, being there especially for yourself, because I feel like people right now are really hard on themselves for not being able to do so many things, for just being stuck at home, for you know just not being able to maybe um, go out, see friends, find a job. But like the mere fact that we're just staying at home and choosing to help make the situation better in our own way by not going out, that's already something to be proud of. And the fact that I mean, even just a simple like check up on your friend isn't more than enough, and that's as productive as you need to be, because again, we are in the middle of a pandemic and in a political situation that may not be the best for us right now. So don't beat yourself up for not doing what you think you should be doing.
That's a great takeaway for everything.
Right. Such a fantastic insight.
Thank you.
Yeah, siguro if there's one takeaway that I got from hearing you speak about all of this now, is that really it's the decisions that we make that paint a
Mhm.
picture of who we are and what we're gonna do. Given
Yeah.
everything you've told us, from your decisions, from being a courtside reporter to this tone of hope or looking forward, it's really our decisions. I think. What
Mhm.
do you think, Nina?
Um, I don't know. It's just I agree with Franny. You just have to remain hopeful. And remember, in our pilot episode, you just said it's very important to remain empathetic right now, because
Yeah.
no matter what situation we're in right now, whether it be a political situation or something like social, empathy is always very important, and I think will lead us to whatever the right answer is, you know?
Yeah. Like that was always something that was important for me when I was reporting and talking to different people. I always wanted to empathize with what they were going through and trying to get other people to empathize with that too, for them to
Mhm.
see these people as more than just athletes. And there's no better way than to look at other people right now, or to treat other people, than to just be empathetic and understand that we're all going through something right now.
Yeah, empathy is very, very important.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions we have for now for today. Franny, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
And I
so
having
hope that we
me.
much.
all got something from all of this, right?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having
Okay.
me.
And if you want any shout outs, or your SoundCloud, I really want to listen to that right now. I'm literally gonna search your SoundCloud right after.
We'll look for her SoundCloud, right?
Um, shout out Nina for graduating magna cum laude.
Wow.
Wow.
Um, shout out to Brennan, Joel, and Avin for having me here. Shout out to Jeff, who is my new friend.
Yes. We're now friends. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and and I guess, shout out to all the people I got to meet in ABS-CBN, and I'm praying for them, and I'm hoping that things will get better for them.
Yes, all we can do right now is hope and pray and try to act on what we can act on, but also not be too hard on ourselves, right, Franny?
Yes.
Correct. All right. So that's all the time we have for now. So thank you. And this has been Hear 'em Out.